Hi there, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. So today we're doing our crypto income for April 2020. Basically, at the beginning of the year, we set a goal, $120,000 in crypto profits this year. So essentially $10,000 a month profit, and this is all new coins. So this is either a stake in Masternodes, interest accounts, advertising revenue, stuff like that. So this is new coins, not existing coins, and the capital appreciation of them. And the good news is this month has been a bumper month, really. It's been the biggest we've had so far, and it would have been a bit bigger if we hadn't been liquidated on a trade in the middle of the month. I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail when we get over to the trading section, but as always, let's start with CeFi, centralized finance, basically crypto interest accounts. So BlockFi $489.21, Celsius $270.39, Ledden $664.05, Nexo $3.23, and Swissborg $80.56. We're not doing anything with crypto.com at the moment, and we've stopped now. I've stopped doing stuff with Nexo. They've been just sort of pestering me, making me jump through additional KYC stuff, even though I've done their level 3 kind of KYC, and I didn't really have much crypto compared to the other kind of platforms on Nexo, but they started kind of pestering me for more KYC stuff, so I just decided to remove stuff from the platform. I wasn't doing a huge amount with them anyway, but the big news is, I suppose across the board really, that rates have been dropping for these kind of crypto interest accounts. BlockFi is the latest one. So last month we dropped down to just one Bitcoin because they started introducing tiers where you only got 6% on the first Bitcoin. Now from May going forward, so as of a couple of days ago, you're only actually going to get the top tier on the first half of Bitcoin. That's actually dropped to 5%. So only 5% on the first half of Bitcoin, down to 2%. Between, I think it's between 2 and 20 Bitcoin, and then 0.5% over and above that. Now, I think for now I'm going to just leave one Bitcoin in there. I'm going to leave this just over one Bitcoin in kind of Celsius. Ledden is paying 6.1% on the first 2 Bitcoin still, but they've introduced tiers as well. It's 2.25 over and above 2 Bitcoin. So you still get your 6.1 on the first 2, but then any Bitcoins you hold over and above that is 2.25%. I'm happier to hold a little bit more on Ledden because I use their B2X feature quite a lot. So I use the money from the interest account to fund these B2X loans, and we'll be going over those in a minute. But across the board, basically, yeah, rates dropping across the industry seemingly, and not just for Bitcoin, but also for a lot of other coins. If we look down at Swissborg here, now this is generating all its Ethereum yield from DeFi, and the rates on this have been dropping really pretty low, lower than some of these other providers like kind of BlockFi and Celsius. So we'll see what happens with Swissborg. I know they've got an announcement, I think this week, coming on Tuesday maybe, and we have potentially the community premium, which might boost the yield a little bit, but it's been a bit disappointing. It was pretty decent when I first signed up, like a couple of months ago, but I only put 5 Ethereum in it because it's a newish kind of platform, and I wanted to kind of test it out, and it's been okay. It pays out quite reliably, but yeah, the yields are dropping, which have been a bit disappointing. So we'll have to see what happens going forward with that and across the kind of industry. And then, in a month or two, if they drop any lower, I think I always said anything less than about 4%, I would consider sort of moving stuff back off into cold storage. Now, Celsius is about 3.5. 1 Bitcoin on BlockFi would be about 3.5 as well. Ledden, I'll continue to hold stuff in because you're getting 6.1 on the first 2 at least. And even with, 3 or 4, it drops down a bit, but you're still around that kind of 4%. Anything above about 4, and then you're dropping on that 4%. But I'll keep them probably for the next month or so, and then we'll make a decision. We might start moving stuff off of these kind of interest platforms and back into cold storage, but we'll see what happens with the rates. And then moving on to DeFi, staking, and Masternodes. Now, last month you might remember I'd removed everything from Uniswap. Now this month, sort of middle to that later second half of this month, I put 2 Ethereum and 2 Ethereum's worth of Uniswap, basically. That is 135 Uniswap when I put that in. Back is a liquidity pair. And then just in the last couple of days, so the beginning of May, I think it was yesterday, in fact, on the 2nd, I've put some more Ethereum into an Ethereum USDC pair. So hopefully going forward we'll start to get a little bit more revenue coming through from the Uniswap again. I do like Uniswap, and DeFi in general. I want to start looking at maybe some of the layer 2 DeFi kind of platforms, stuff like Polygon. I'm interested in Cardano once smart contracts go live there and we can get some DeFi products on that. I'll be interested in looking at that as well. But hopefully this will build up again a little bit going forward. Now you might notice the total revenue has dropped a little bit because I've actually worked out a new way of kind of calculating the rewards on DeFi. It's not always the easiest thing because the amount, the ratios between the two fluctuate with the kind of price of each. It does make it a little bit difficult sometimes to work out the kind of profit. So I've got a new way of doing it, and it means that the total revenue, which I'd previously calculated to be about 1,600, I think is probably closer to this, so about 1,250 now. So I'll be using this new system kind of going forward, but it should make it a lot easier to keep account of how much we're making from DeFi, not just Uniswap but other protocols as well. And then on the staking coins, Cardano $323.45, $1.81 from Tezos, $78.78 from Icon, and finally the Horizon Secure Nodes, $57.42. And then excuse me, moving on to trading and leverage loans. Now this was the biggest last month, and it continues to be a really decent performer. So we made just over $30,500 from Bybit and $8,379 from Ledden B2X loans. I just cashed out a couple of small ones, not massive profits earlier on in the month, and I was quite pleased actually that I did, because then we had that big pullback in price of Bitcoin at the middle of the month rather, and I've actually jumped back in. So we've got 8 Bitcoin currently locked up in Ledden B2X. So hopefully they should perform pretty well over the next kind of month or two, particularly as we start hopefully to hit some new all-time highs, potentially 70,000, 80,000, something like that. And then the big news really this month was Bybit. So it was a really good month. I've put in half a Bitcoin and 30 Ethereum. What I'm going to do is at the end of each month is I'm going to let the Bitcoin, which I think is probably closer to 0.7 now with trading profits, I'm hopefully going to let that build up to 1 Bitcoin, and then over and above 1 Bitcoin I'll withdraw at the beginning of each month, and the same with Ethereum. So 30 Ethereum and 1 Bitcoin is kind of like what I'm hoping to kind of get to, and then over and above that any extra Ethereum I'm withdrawing at the beginning of each month. So I think I took 13 Ethereum out at the beginning of May. As I said, decent kind of profits this month, but I did get stuck in a really bad position middle of the month where there was that flash crash and I was liquidated on a trade. And what I tend to do is we're in a bull market, so my kind of like overall, sorry, let me jump back to that. My overall kind of sentiment is kind of bullish, and what I tend to do is I'll jump into a trade normally with a kind of smallish amount, and then if the price drops, I dollar cost average down. So I will set up limit buys all the way kind of down. So I might start with say a 20,000 leveraged Ethereum position, and then maybe every 20 or kind of $50 down the prices, I'll have a limit order for another 10,000, and I'll limit those all down, and then basically I'll have a liquidation price, and then just above the liquidation price I'll put in a big buy order. So if my overall position's maybe going to go up to say $100,000 on a 5x Ethereum position, I'll probably put like a 50,000 buy just above the liquidation price, so that if there is a flash crash like there was in the middle of the month excuse me, before it hits that liquidation price, I'll do a big kind of buy, and that will kind of bring the average cost down. Now what happened is I normally set these up whenever I set a trade. I normally set these up, and then if I'm dollar cost average down, if some of my limit buys are getting hit, I'll adjust the sort of liquidation price kind of like buy, or the one that just sits just above liquidation price as it goes. And what happened this month, it was middle of the month, I was at a barbecue, I got pretty drunk, and then I came back and I took some profits from a kind of trade, and then I set up a trade again, set up a few limit orders, forgot to do the one above the liquidation price, and ironically that was a Saturday night. There was that massive drop in price for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, the market in general, and I woke up Sunday morning and I'd been liquidated on a $180,000 Ethereum long position. It was a 5x leverage position, so it cost me about $33,000, I think it was, which is a little bit of a frustrating thing. It's my own fault though. I should always check that I do have those. Sorry. I should always check that I do have those big purchases just above the kind of liquidation price in place, and I didn't. So it was a valuable lesson to learn. It was an expensive lesson, unfortunately. If it wasn't for that, we would have been in a better position. I'm not saying we would have been 33,000 better, because we were sat after that big drop, a decent kind of entry price then, and then I actually kind of went for a couple of 8x Ethereum positions and got most of it back within the next kind of, or probably the next week. But overall, we made 30,000. We were up, as I said, middle of the month. Up over 33,000, then we lost that big chunk, but a valuable lesson and one to learn from. So I'm double checking all my kind of trades when I jump into them now. I'm setting up all my limit dollar cost averaging down, and I'm making sure that I do have that big purchase sat above the liquidation price, because at a 5x leverage, a 20% drop does mean you could get liquidated. Now Bitcoin not quite as volatile as Ethereum, but Ethereum, although it's got that massive upside, and we've seen this certainly kind of today where we're massively over 3,000 for the first time on Ethereum, you can have those big swings down as well, and it's not a nice feeling being liquidated. It's the first time it's happened to me, but a valuable lesson learned. But managed to get some decent kind of trading, certainly in the last kind of week, and with a nice kind of bullish sentiment, particularly on Ethereum. I know Bitcoin's been trending a little bit sideways over the last week or so, but the big swing up over the last week, particularly in Ethereum, certainly since then, has got me basically those kind of profits back. So just over 30,000, 30,500 from that. Led, as I said, we took a few small positions off the table at the beginning of the month, and we've entered some decent positions. So I'm hoping for some good returns over the next month or so from the B2X loans. And then finally, in our other category, we have a nice ash. Now, ironically, here it's been really cold in April in the UK. I think it's the coldest April in 60 years, something like that. And the upshot of that is that I've been basically running my 3090 here in my desktop machine sort of overnight. Means that the office is at tolerable temperature when I get in the morning. So made $233.10 from that, $50.89 from YouTube, $33.35 from library, and $1,684.03 from referral revenue, a mixture of Celsius, BlockFi, Lead, and other bits and pieces like that. So grand total this month just under 43,000, $42,963.70. A grand total this year $116,332.29. Excuse me. So if we jump into the monthly revenue, you can see it's our best month so far. January was a pretty kind of low month, and then February we had a lot of B2X revenue, March we had a lot of Bybit revenue, and then April again another really big month for Bybit with a little bit of B2X as well, but we're way ahead of our kind of target now. If we jump forward and have a look at the breakdown by the different revenue stream, we can see here CeFi, so this is our interest accounts, 3% of the revenue, just 1% for DeFi, 91% from our trading and leveraged loans, and other 5%. And then if we look at the cumulative amounts, this is where we were hoping to be in December, so $120,000 cumulative by December, and we've almost hit it, over 116,000 now. So I said a couple of months ago, sitting in February, if we continued on at this kind of rate, we might hit it kind of June. If it wasn't for that liquidated trade month, might have even hit it this month, but I think short of any catastrophes next month, we should hit it for sure in kind of May, which is really kind of positive. So if we do hit it in May, we'll look at some maybe adjusting the targets, maybe looking at tweaking the kind of targets, setting some additional targets going forward. But that's it for this month. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. It's always really nice to hear from you. Let me know how your crypto stuff is going. Let me know if you've had successes with trading or interest accounts. Let me know of new products, services and stuff like that maybe I should be looking at. As I said, there was links to all the platforms I use across these things, from from NiceHash to kind of library to kind of Bybit to exchanges and the interest account, stuff like that. Now some of those are affiliate links, and I do earn a small commission if you sign up through them, and often you get a small bonus as well. So just for the sake of transparency, some of those are paid affiliate links. Anyway, that's it for this month. Thanks very much for watching as always. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video, but until then, have a great day. Bye bye.